Hey, what's up, you guys? I know you're probably expecting to see my wife, but today it's me. And for those of you who don't know, my wife, Lenny, she is the owner and founder of Lenny K Photography. I'm her assistant, formerly known as the second shooter. So today that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how I became the second shooter. We started out kind of butting heads. I mean, I wanted to do things one way, she wanted to do things another way. Long story short, I had to get myself in line. So I understand that she was the owner, she's the business, she's the face of the business. And I had to figure out how I wanted to work with her. Though we're married, we still had a component where that business aspect had to still, there was different dynamics there, and we had to figure that out. Most people say it's very hard to work with someone who you're married with, and I would agree in the beginning, but now, I mean, we've been married for 10 years now, and it's a joy to work with my wife. Every weekend we're doing weddings, whether in Ohio, Illinois, Kentucky, Michigan, wherever we're at, it's a joy. And so being the second shooter, or you can say the assistant, I've learned that I gotta lay down my ego, even as a man. So I would challenge the dudes out there who work with their wives or who are getting ready to start a business with their wives. You gotta lay down that ego. Let your wife run the business. Let your wife be the focal point, and you just learn how to support. And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn how to support my wife through thick and thin. And also my love for photography. I'm more of a landscape candid type guy. So I naturally already liked photography. I mean, I'm always taking pictures of my dog, buildings, the sky, landscape. That's what I like. So it kind of just meshed together when me and Lenny got together. She loves emotion, she loves people, creating that emotion, creating that feeling, and I love just standing in the background. And so it kind of worked hand in hand with us, where she would be more intentional with people creating and imposing them, and I'll be laid back with my zoom lens, just click, 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 click. And so as a second shooter, one thing I would recommend is always, always, always make sure that you have the priority of the main photographer, whether you're working with your spouse or whether you're working with someone else. Always have the main focus of the lead photographer. Don't go over trying to take over what the lead photographer is doing. You're there to assist the photographer, whether that's getting groom shots, whether that's capturing details, whether that's carrying the bag. Many times in our relationship / business relationship, I had to carry bags. I mean, I still carry bags to this day. Camera bags, lighting bags, the camera equipment. I mean, and it's just part of what I do. So if you're a second shooter, don't get in the way of that lead photographer. You're there to support them. You're not there just solely for you. You're there to support that photographer. Secondly, I would say, as a second shooter, that's what you do. You make sure you capture those moments that the lead photographer may have missed, may have forgotten. My wife will tell you, there's been many times where she's photographed something and she missed it, but I knew she needed that shot, so guess what I did? I was there to get it. And so that's what a second photographer, second shooter is there for. They're there to support and assist the main photographer. So that's what you need to know. Remember that. You are there to support the photographer, the lead photographer. My third and my final tip is also be creative. But when I say be creative in the sphere of what that lead photographer is looking for. If you know you're photographing a wedding where the bride and groom want mostly candids and more photojournalistic, be creative within that sphere. Get those candid, those photojournalistic type photos. But if you know the bride and groom is wanting a different style, talk with your main lead, go over the timeline. Hey, where do you want me to be? Over communicate. That could be my third point. Be creative / over communicate with that lead photographer. Don't go on your own whim trying to do and create your own portfolio. Support that lead photographer. And in doing that, you'll run into photographers who will let you use those photos, you can keep those photos, whatever. Being married to my wife, I don't have that issue, but as a second shooter, I have a portfolio. Do I go around sharing it? No, because me and my wife are shooting together every weekend. I don't need to second shoot for anyone else because I'm shooting with my wife. So take those moments as a second shooter to be creative and work with that lead photographer. Over communicate. Be sure you over communicate and you're communicating with that lead photographer, because at the end of the day, you're there to support that lead photographer. And as my wife's husband, I'm there to support her. So I hope you guys got some tips out of those 3 things. Be creative, be photojournalistic, whatever that bride or that groom need from you, make sure you're there to support that lead photographer in bringing that wedding day to life so they can have images that they cherish and that they love for a lifetime. That being said, this is Deontay with Linda K Photography. You'll be seeing my wife soon, but today is me, which is your tips and what you can do as a second shooter to help you succeed in this wedding industry. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.